Hey, what's up? This is Mark Lopes from Metal Church of Ross the Boss Band. Let us pray. And you're listening to Aftershocks TV. And don't forget to keep it fucking metal. Yeah.
All right, Aftershocks TV, we got a cool episode for everyone today, and joining me on this episode from Georgia's metal upstarts, Truth to Power, we've got Chris and Kevin. What's going on, guys? Thanks for joining me. How are you?
Doing excellent.
Awesome. All right, well, guys, let's start things off. Let's talk about obviously the record. I mean, you guys have had a record out there now for about a year. We're gonna bring it up right here. Claim Your Freedom. 5-song EP you put out, man. This is this EP has been in my rotation really since I heard it back last year, late last year. I suggested this to a couple of my buddies that love metal, man, and they love this record. So this is definitely a record I think that needs to. So I'm having you guys on. Needs to get out there. People need to hear this record. Got a great blend of, I mean, just all types of metal. A lot of thrash, of course, on there. You got 90s groove. You got some metalcore. Just a great overall sound, a blend of everything, man. So let's have you guys start off. Talk about the band sound. I mean, where do you guys' influence come from in terms of when you put the record together? Did you purposely want to incorporate all these sounds, or did it just kind of come together naturally in the studio in your songwriting?
And everybody's got influences, and whenever you're writing, those influences kind of bleed through. But I think that with everything that's going on in the world today, just trying to find the most honest sound that I can make in the band room, and writing through that, all the way back to records like Opiate with that 5-song EP that they came out with. Ever since then, I thought, modeling the first EP after something like that, something that's 15 or 20 minutes of the most honest, the most pure sound that can come out of me. So through bands like ASTV, like Kevin was saying, and mostly just feeding from what's going on around you, the local bands like the ones around here, like Violent System and Subdivisions and Die 985, Casket Creature, stuff like that. Just kind of vibing from those things.
Yeah, no, definitely. Well, there's a lot of great, stuff coming, out, like this kind of music coming out from the South there. I mean, I know in Florida's got some good bands. Rhythm of Fear is a band that I've become privy to. There's a band, Bushido Code, out of Louisiana. I mean, I guess one of the things that to me is, unless you're really digging hard for this stuff, it's really difficult. For instance, like this record, I mean, I'm just really shocked that not more people know about it. Well, the reason is because it's really hard to find, with just a saturated market on social media and everything. I mean, in an age where social media is king, I mean, how difficult has it been for you guys to really get this out to metal fans, not just really so much across the globe, but really at least across the country, outside of maybe the southern, the deep South region there, because like I said, there's a lot of great metal coming out of there, but a lot of people wouldn't know about. I mean, even me, if it wasn't a lot of it's for Zach from Metal Devastation. He's done such a great job pushing all the bands out from the South, and there's such a great scene. I mean, how difficult has it been for you guys to really get this, out to more people away from the area there?
It's always a challenge, but the good thing is that touring is always going to be king, And as long as you've got a couple of guys that don't mind being on the road and pushing this thing and believing in it, then usually good things will happen.
Yeah.
And we've had great response that way, just being live, because our live show is kind of what it's all about, really.
Now, in terms of live, I mean, have you guys been able to play outside of the area? Or do you really just mostly focus on the southern region right now? I mean, naturally you would, because it's tough to tour right now. It's extremely tough, obviously, just getting shows, and a lot of venues are closing up all around the country. So, I mean, have you guys been able to tour outside of Georgia for the most part, or you kind of keep it regional?
Well, actually, we just finished up like these little micro tours we were doing with the Maelstrom and Dark Cells. It was called the Behold the Brutality Tour, and it was just weekend ventures like out to Virginia and Jacksonville, places like that. So, that it's a little bit of exposure. It was, it wasn't these great long runs, staying out on the road for a month or anything, but we still were able to get all the places within what Kevin, 5 or 6 hours from here. So
yeah,
weekend warrior stuff.
Yeah, no, absolutely, man. You got, like I said, that's not like we're all spring chickens. You're in your 20s, and you can, like you said, just jump in a van and do that for a couple of weeks. It's really difficult, obviously, to do that. Let's get into a couple of the tracks. Obviously, the first one was the first video you guys put out for the track Omega, more of a groove-oriented track with a metalcore twist. Still has that real, just strong, aggressive, aggression that you guys have in all the songs. A lot of it's obviously due to your vocals too, Chris. But so talk a little bit about Omega, and I mean the choice for choosing that as the video, because I mean every song is so good on this record. It must have been real difficult to really choose one to really put out there. And what made you go with Omega out of the rest of them?
Yeah, honestly, it was a flip of a coin, man.
Yeah,
it was, any one of those songs I would let go for a video choice, but I think that the members that I was working with at the time thought that was the strongest one, so that's the one I went with.
Go!
Okay, yeah. So I mean, now with Dark Sales Entertainment, you guys obviously put the record out on that. You recorded, like you said, at Maelstrom Studios, and it looks like they're doing some really cool things there. I mean, they're really, putting together a management, studio, label, everything in one package, which is it's great. I think they deserve a gold star. Anyone these days who does something like that really deserves a lot of credit just for because there's so much. There's not a lot of money in this right now these days. So that to really put all that into one package is really admirable. And what they're doing at Dark Sales. How did you guys wind up hooking up with them for the record?
Well, I'll tell you what, I've known Cody. I think Kevin's known Cody for a long time too, and Kellen from down there. They've been in bands that we've all rubbed shoulders at. Some of the same clubs and stuff. So whenever I found out that they were putting a studio together, I went down just to check it out and, get them some business and start networking with some people and maybe pull some other friends in and everything. All it took was that little bit of gasoline, man. And it set a whole bonfire. There's all kinds of people involved in it now. And I mean, they stay booked, stay busy. So yeah, man, I mean, it's a good thing. All it takes is somebody finding it and, word of mouth, man. And it gets around.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Now, another track I want to talk about is Media Assimilation. Yeah, that's one of my favorites on the record.
My favorite.
Yeah, it's just a killer thrash riff at the beginning there. It kicks things off. It's got a real good blend of like I was saying earlier, all the different types of metal, especially with hardcore and thrash in there. Reminds me a bit of like a band like Propane from back in the day. It's got that 90s vibe to it.
Yeah.
Talk about what the song represents, lyrically. Obviously, there's a strong message in there. And regarding the, I'm assuming the corrupt media, when you look at the, I know you guys have a lyric video out for it too, which people can go check out and read the words. Talk a little bit about that song and what that represents.
Well, man, aside from the obvious, how the media is obviously manipulating us from both sides of the fence, man, doing their best to divide us and, get us fighting one another and at each other's throats, putting everybody's business out there, doxing people for the way that they think or what they believe. You got gang members chasing Christians and Christians chasing gang members, man. It's just crazy. And I really think that the media is to blame for a whole lot of the problems these days. And if people would just wake up and see that they're being manipulated and seeing that their strings are being pulled, I think we'd be in a lot better of a situation, as far as getting along or, just being united against the corruption and the things that are obviously plaguing us these days, including COVID and including, government overreach, et cetera,
Mm-hmm. Now, have you guys gotten any sort of, I don't want to say pushback, but any, I guess, you know how it is these days. You sing about anything related to politics, or even though it's, like you said, you're not taking a side in either way, because that's what the media is been doing, is dividing everyone. Do you have people, because you've got, an Uncle Sam figure on your cover here, you've talking about the media. Do you get a lot of people, going against you, in terms of what your message is? Surprisingly, even though there shouldn't be any, what you're saying is a very neutral stance you're taking. You're not taking really, any left or a right side. But do you guys get any pushback because of you singing and expressing your views on, the I guess, semi-political atmosphere?
I don't see it. I don't see it at all, and I think it's because of the neutral stance. Okay. It's not that we're trying to say this side's right or that side's right. It's just we all see what's happening. So let's kind of stand united and let's talk about it. Let's face it. Let's acknowledge it.
Well, I saw you. I'd also read you guys now. Now you guys are a two-piece. Obviously, it's now down. It's you guys that are running the show right now. And I know reading about a little bit of the history of the band. You know, Chris. Obviously, I know this is your baby, and you're the main writer. I did read you hired some players before to play with the band. Obviously, now it's just you and Kevin. So what's the plan, I guess, going forward? I mean, are you guys going to hire some, I guess, some other musicians to kind of come in when it comes to touring? And when it comes to writing, is it just going to be you guys going forward as a two-piece?
Well, to tell you the truth, I'm glad you asked me that. The idea about Truth to Power was kind of set around the idea of a two-piece. And as we got the ball sort of rolling, there was interest from other musicians as far as, positions open in the band. And here's the thing is I love to network, and I love the idea that other musicians can come in and contribute, writing or riffage or anything like that. I love to feature artists whenever we're in the studio. Like if I like the way you play lead guitar, I'm going to say, hey man, can I feature you on this track? Or if I like the way that you front, or the way that you handle the microphone, or have a good stage presence, man, I'm going to do everything I can to get you involved. This last show that we did in Gainesville at the Blackstrap, Kyle Sanders' place, I think we had 2 or 3 different people come up and, do guest spots with us on stage that night. We did the first few just on our own, and we vibed out just fine, just me and Kevin. I've never felt more at home in music and playing metal music than I do with Kevin. But, being able to throw something else in the mix that fits and vibes out well, I'm gonna always opt to do that. I think it's great that people can network, come and go, and just be adults about it. Whereas we're not children, man. We don't get together so we can get mad at each other and quit the band anymore. I want to I want our group to be as big as it can possibly get and work with as many people as humanly possible. Everybody is Truth to Power. Everybody.
Yeah, that's cool. Well, it's pretty unique too for metal bands. I mean, you see maybe some doom metal bands with two pieces. Obviously, they're just two pieces, but usually metal, like you said, it's to find just two guys leading, it's pretty unique. But I mean, as long as you guys keep putting out music like you did on this record, I think it's definitely a winning formula for sure. Now, I know I think I did read that you guys had. Or planned. I listened to that. I know you did an interview last year with Scott Bowling, who's on our network as well on Good Company. You guys were scheduled, I believe, to do a documentary you were talking about doing. Anything that going on with that, or have things changed so much that maybe that's been put on hold now because of maybe the band member situation?
Well, to tell you the truth, we were doing kind of a behind the scenes of a video, it was going to be a Truth to Power song and video. And the guys that I was working with, I ended up deciding to go with Kevin instead of continuing on with those guys. So we released that song. It's called 5 to 1, and you might be able to find it someplace. Okay. But the documentary footage that we have, I was hoping that we could continue, documenting through the Behold the Brutality tour. There was a lot of documentary film. So it's not just going to be a documentary from point A to the point B, but we're going to keep going from point B to point C. And maybe one of these days we'll have, a whole story of Truth to Power that'll be one huge documentary,
Yeah, no, very cool. I mean, that sounds like I said. Well, I think it's crucial too for bands these days to do something like that. I mean, obviously putting out videos is important, but yeah, doing something like that, I think is really, I mean, just like anything, it's a way for people to really get to know the band, more and become more interested in them. Obviously, it does nothing but help promoting and marketing the band. So I think that's a great idea. Now, in terms of new music, I mean, I think also I read something you guys was kind of supposed to have something coming out this year at full length. And is that something that's still you guys are still working on, or is that something that maybe we're going to see sometime in the near future?
Yeah, me and Kevin are looking forward to going in the studio again in maybe November and December around the holidays and putting some more tracks down and picking whoever we're going to use to feature in one or two of those tracks. And probably go in again maybe in February and March to put a few more down. So maybe by the end of next year we'll be coming out with more of a full length.
Okay, very cool. Now, is the sound going to be very similar to what we've heard on Claim Your Freedom? Same sound, same style?
Close. It's definitely growing, but it's not going to leave that realm for sure. Okay. It's got a sound to it of its own, but the songs are maturing as Chris and I have played together. You know, now that we've been on the road since June, every weekend, we're definitely, the songs are just coming out of us now. So now that we're back in the band room, we're writing quite a bit of material pretty quickly. You know, kind of deciphering what's filler and what's killer. You know.
Yeah. I know that's always the tough for you to know that. Absolutely. I mean, is it in terms of now? I would say, I guess, like the release. Are you going to release it again on Dark Seals? Are you still with Cody and the gang there?
100%.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I'm nowhere near separating from Cody and Kellen. They've done.
Those guys have been amazing to us.
They're right. If you can get any time with those guys, if you're in a band, you can get any time with those guys at all. You're doing the right thing. Trust me.
The passion they have behind, like you said earlier, you know, it's doing the whole owner and distributing music and also recording music and putting these bands on the road. You know, there's not a lot of money left in that after they're booking hotel rooms and getting the gigs, the whole nine. And they're there for every show. They put us through all the way. There's never a snag. If there is, it's taken care of. They honestly care about the bands that they work with, and they really just basically care about the music, and that's what you want behind you for sure.
Yeah, and it's rare to find that these days because of.
And they have tons of drive. They keep us really busy.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah, that's always good, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Now I know I saw you guys got a couple local shows that are lined up here this fall. What's the plan now? You guys going to continue to do, like you said, just do these Weekend Warriors small little tour things around the area? Is that your plan going forward, or what's the plan in terms of live music?
At the moment, we're booking the local stuff just because we're writing so much.
Okay.
So it behooves us just to be at home and writing because we do want to get back in the studio. We've got new music videos that'll be coming out shortly, and it's easier to be a little closer to home at the moment. Sure. But we never shy away from a show, whether it be here, out of town, anywhere, you know.
Yeah, no, absolutely, man. Well, I hope you guys can make it out here on the West Coast one day. That would be fabulous.
Love it.
To see you guys. Yeah. But yeah, in the meantime, obviously everybody can go ahead and check out Claim Your Freedom. Truth to Power, it's out now. Got a couple of great videos out there, like I said, Omega, some great lyric videos. So guys, I mean, other than obviously you guys got your website, Truth to Power, truthtopowerband.com, that everyone can go to and keep up with the band. Where else should we send everyone, the viewers and the listeners to go, purchase some music and some merch and all that good stuff?
Yeah, we're on the Bandcamp as well as. So if you're not able to find a show where we're at and purchase merch there, then there's the Bandcamp. You can always go to there.
All right, fantastic. Well, once again, Claim Your Freedom, the debut EP from Truth to Power. It's out now. And guys, hey, I appreciate you coming on and giving me some of your time to talk about the band. Like I said, I'm just going to keep pushing you guys. You guys, just fantastic sound record, and can't wait to hear the new stuff when that comes out eventually. And good luck with everything, man. We'll keep up with you guys.
Thank you so much for the hospitality and support. We appreciate you.